New York. That is very New York. Something that my son was talking about years ago. Rucker Park.
Mm-hmm.
In the world of basketball, which a lot of people see as their son goes to high school, he's a senior, then now it seems it's not necessarily just to a big time school. There's a lot of prep schools. There's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of different ways. Rucker Park, what is it responsible for in the basketball world? How do you quantify or qualify Rucker Park? What is it?
It is the mecca of playground basketball. We don't call it street basketball because that's a pejorative. The idea that street is somehow lesser than any other type of basketball. Playground basketball is as much an important part of basketball and how we see it professionally, how we see it in its many incarnations, whether it be the Big Three or Full Court 21 or whatever the case might be. NCAA basketball is a big part of why it is successful. So it is the mecca of playground basketball. You know, the history of it from Mr. Holcomb Rucker, being a person who was responsible in this community and making the community better and giving these young people an outlet.
Now, Rucker Park
expression.
geographically is where? It's not Harlem, is it?
It is actually in Harlem.
It is Harlem. Okay.
It is Harlem. It is the old polo grounds where the polo grounds, the old New York Giants used to play. The polo ground projects are right there. And 155th and Frederick Douglass or 155th and 8th Avenue in New York City is the corner where the current, because the Rucker's been in a couple of different places in Harlem, right? But you're up in Sugar Hill area, and you're looking at 155th, and you're right across from Yankee Stadium. Like you go across the bridge and you're in the Bronx, and there's Yankee Stadium. So there's a lot going on there. But this is a place, and when you go and you play in the Rucker, if you have an opportunity, it's now the EBC. Shouts out to the late, great Greg Marius, who took over the Rucker and changed it to the Entertainers Basketball Classic, or EBC. Passed away not too long ago. When I was playing in the Rucker, and it was called the EBC, I got a nickname. And when you get your nickname, or we call it birth certificate, Duke Tango, who was once one of the announcers there, initially gave me the nickname of Blade. I'm like, nah, I don't like that because people can like, oh, he's the gay Blade. I'm like, no, nothing against gay people at all. No, it's just at the time I was like, yeah, it's too easy to make jokes about it, right? For basketball, whatever. And
well, there's gonna be. Let's face it, there's gonna be a lot of talk while you're playing the game.
I mean, there's always talk.
Yeah.
I'm talking about from the crowd. Like the crowd is. You have to understand when you see 10,000 people watching you play an outdoor basketball game that's not NCAA or NBA sanctioned, that's real. And we were playing in championship games. There were 10,000 people outside watching us play. So eventually, I'm playing a game, and somebody calls me Danny Roman, Samuel L. Jackson from that movie with what's the name? My guy from House of Cards, Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey. Huh?
So Kevin Spacey and Samuel L. Jackson are in this movie called The Negotiator. And they start calling me Danny Roman.
Yeah.
And then it just turns into The Negotiator. He negotiates the lane for 2 points. He negotiates with the ref for a foul call. He negotiates with the crowd for some love. And I became The Negotiator.
Not bad. I'm not hating that.
That was my birth certificate. And so, that is, I had some pretty good games to the Rucker. And I enjoyed my experience there. And to be a part of that history with everyone from of course, my favorite player of all time is Julius Winfield Erving II. Okay. And because he was so elegant as a player, he's the most elegant guy to ever lace him up. Not only on the court, but his elegance off the court, and this is one of the first times for young people in the community who saw a basketball player to see a guy who can handle himself in a world that had historically eliminated your voice and your image from that. For him to stand toe-to-toe and have these conversations and be so eloquent and represent you in that way made me proud to see, and in the 70s, I had a lot of that. Muhammad Ali, Julius Erving, growing up with that. So to take that and say, I can do those same things in my own way, he was a big influence on me, and he's obviously one of the greatest players who ever played the Rucker.
He certainly is. And if you wanted to know what it looks like, there were some pro players. It was Tom Hoover, I think.
Hoover played for the Knicks.
Played for the Knicks. when they heard the name, again, this is in the day, right? So you said Gabe Leg, and you didn't want something that was not manly sounding in that time. It's just
no, it wasn't even about manly sound. It's just like it didn't fit you. You didn't like they used to call Julius Erving the Hawk or the Claw, right? The Claw, which is Kawhi Leonard's nickname now.
Yeah.
It's odd, but he didn't like the Claw. But
you've got to have something that's got
so
the name Julius.
Well, yeah, that's one too.
So let's go back. This is in the 70s. This is unbelievable stuff. If you and again, it's interesting that the way that you put it about his eloquence. There was a dignity. There was a high level of style, but it was also equaled to the man off the court. This is Rucker Park. This is Big Will's big influence on his life and a lot of people. Julius Erving.
We played him the first game, and they kept saying, "You wait till Julius gets here. You wait till Julius." And I'm like, "Who's Julius? I'm in the NBA, but I care about Julius."
Tom Hoover had never heard of him, but soon enough, the kid named Julius was doing things that no one at the Rucker would ever forget.
At the baseline, he dunks, and the guy takes the ball out to throw it the length of the court for a fast break. He jumps up in the air and catches the ball and throws it down.
Charlie Scott shot a long shot, and Julius came, took it out of the air, and dunked it.
I took it right there. I said, I don't need to see anything else. This was it.
People here in Harlem, they really know good basketball. And, if you do something real nice, they show their appreciation.
He came down one time. I had the angle on him. He dunked the ball so bad, the ball hit me in the top of the head. My teeth fell out on the ground. The crowd roared. I had scrambled to grab him off the ground and put him back in my mouth. That helped build his reputation.
There was just one thing left for Julius to earn at the Rucker.
They would call him different names, Little Hawk.
He went over to the announcer and said, "I'm not the Little Hawk. That's Connie Hawkins." So then they called him the Claw.
Oh, man, the Claw's got the ball going. I was like, I'm thinking, I wonder who he's talking about. He's calling me the Claw. I didn't want to be the Claw.
They would call him all sorts of names.
Oh, what a rebound by Black Moses. Black Moses, what are you talking about?
He said, "If you want to call me anything, call me the doctor." So they said, "Well, the doctor is operating tonight."
All of a sudden, Dr. J, Dr. J, Dr. J.
Who's your favorite basketball player?
Dr. J.
Why?
All his moves he do, that's why.
Behind me, up on the roof, is a school. They were all on the roof. He drew the greatest crowd in the history of the Rucker Pro League.
You had people up in the trees, sitting on branches. Everywhere you looked around, there were people.
It wasn't even standing room only. People could not see enough of the game. We had people on the bridges.
This is where...
That's a crazy story. I know we're a little tight for time, but just looking at that influence. Yeah. I mean, the look of, and again, because I was one of those kids where my jaw's hitting the ground, my eyes are really big, and the big famous one they show him swooping underneath when he's actually with the pros.
Of course, yeah. That 1982 finals against the Los Angeles Lakers, beating Mark Landsberger, baselining, shooting that in Kareem's face.
It's a good. So you kind of remember it then.
A little bit.
It is, and again, I look at certain athletes in their sports and what they meant to the sport and what they meant to the people, and very often it's not just because you were a good athlete. In fact, I think that you can go through Hall of Famers and there's obviously they're in the Hall for a reason, but in given sports they're like ambassadors. They're like diplomats. They're almost royalty. I've always said that about Jean Beliveau in Montreal, and when he was there with his wife, the white hair, and he really looked like a dignitary. I would put Julius Erving in that category for his sport.
He carried two leagues. He carried the ABA, and when they made the transition to the NBA, the NBA was on the verge of bankruptcy and about to go under, and Julius Erving was the infusion they needed going toward the Magic Johnson and Larry Bird era, which came a couple of years after they did the merger in '76. And they were the three guys who carried the league. But Julius Erving had the responsibility, and he was the type of person who could handle that responsibility and carrying the ABA until its last days, and then into the NBA, and out of the dark ages and into the age of David Stern and bringing back the dunk contest and understanding the entertainment value of merging this so-called street ball or this playground basketball style, the up-tempo style, into kind of staid, very fundamentally sound basketball of the NBA. And when you merge those, you now have this incredible product that you can see stars like LeBron, Raymond James, or Wardell Stephen Curry Jr. Doing their things in the National Basketball Association right now.
So we're going to call it a day because